All right. Welcome back for another episode of Two Plane Sports. Today is Wednesday, July 6th that you guys are watching this. And as you can see, we are joined by Oklahoma commit Joshua Bates. We appreciate you coming on, and we're going to have a pretty good interview just talking about various recruiting, upcoming season, coaches, various other things, and pretty good interview coming up. So, but before we get into it, I just want to say appreciate it. If you found us just now, hit the subscribe button. Find us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Everything's linked below. Turn the notification bell. Comment on the video. Let us know what you think about this interview. Brandon's going to have an in-video challenge for you, and be sure to share this. And we're going to keep coming with great content, and a lot of stuff's coming up in July. I'm sure Joshua has some pretty good ideas about what's coming up and leading into August. And we'll just get right into it now. So first question, I'll just, start it off. It'll be really easy. I know you were offered back when, the old staff was here and you committed with the old staff, but let's go back even further into your initial recruitment and various other schools way back in the day. I was just curious, like, what schools outside of Oklahoma were you really interested in, or was it that when Oklahoma offered, they were like right at your number one, or just kind of your whole process of when you started recruiting or getting recruited, I guess?
Yeah, so a couple things, obviously playing that. I live here in Colorado, and my dad played at Colorado, and so that was my first offer. Out of the gate as a sophomore, getting offered kind of by the home state, and it was great. I love that area. I love Colorado. There's some stuff, I'd rather not be involved in, And then obviously I love Michigan State too. They were pulling a lot. They offered me too. Mel Tucker and that staff up there really did a good job, and they do a good job of just recruiting and getting the right players there. And then obviously I had a interest in Georgia ever since I really started, wanting to play. And I love Georgia, and they didn't hit me up until way late down the road. So it was a little later, but I was never able, presented that opportunity. But once Oklahoma offered me, I just remember sitting down with my parents and being like, there's not going to be a college that's better. You look in the history books and, in the college and the football program, who has been, consistently dominant throughout college football. And without a doubt, it's Oklahoma. And so that's something that, obviously you can't turn down. And then you go and meet all the people in the family atmosphere that they have at Oklahoma, and it's close to none. And it's something that I could not, turn down, and my family couldn't turn away from. So I made the decision early, and I'm not a big, recruit, I'm not a big recruitment, take all my photo shoots and, just be, you love the recruiting game. I wanted to end it early, and I wanted to, make my decision and, go fully in. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, Brum just alluded to it, but you committed under the previous staff, and from an outside perspective, you can kind of see a little bit of the difference between Venables and Lincoln Riley, just kind of how the program's running. Obviously, you're not there yet; you still got a senior season to play, but just this early on, what are some of the big differences, I guess, under Brent Venables versus Lincoln Riley? Did you ever consider decommitting when Coach Riley left, or was Coach B big in keeping you at Oklahoma?
Yeah, so there's a lot there too. Coach V and Coach Riley, I feel like both of their, from with me talking to both of them, extensively, I feel like they both bring obviously different skill sets to the table, just in how their brains work and how they think about football. Obviously, Brent Venables is more defensive coordinator, thinks of the game more defensively. And then Lincoln Riley, you obviously get that offensive mind, and high scoring offense, and everything. So from a head coaching standpoint, I'd say they're polar opposites, right? You get two different brains, two different coordinators. And I think really the biggest difference though is the SOUL program that Brent Venables instilled, that basically takes care of life after football and it shows young athletes and young men to turn into, you know, great men and really, you know, men of God and upstanding, you know, citizens in this community. And that's something that, you know, there's only two places in the country that have that, and that's Oklahoma and Clemson, you know. So you look at stuff like that, and I think with Brent Venables, that was a big thing that was way different, and that was it was a shock for me, you know, just seeing it, because the old staff, you know, they didn't do any of that, and you know, Lincoln Riley he didn't have a program that, you know, instilled and cared that much about the person off the football field. So that's something that's huge, and it's big, and that's something I love about Brent Venables and his new characteristics and stuff he brings into the coaching room. And yeah, so that's great. And then with the I didn't think about decommitting, because I knew I've said this before on other interviews and podcasts, is the one thing I thought, and the one thing that my family kept pushing is like, you know, Oklahoma's they're not going to hire some slappy, you know, they're not going to hire, you know, someone who's not allowed to be there, you know, and someone who doesn't have the credentials and stuff to be there. You know, they're going to hire anyone from freaking Mike Tomlin to Bill Belichick to, you know, Brent Venables, the best defensive coordinator in college football. So, you know, I definitely just sat back with OU and just watched it all happen, watched the dust settle before I really made any big moves. And with Beatonbow, he gave me a call, and he's like, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. You know, he's like, I'm going to stay. And he's like, I'd love you to stay with me, you know? And before that, we had a phone call, and he's like, you know, I could be moving somewhere, you know? And he's like, would you be interested in moving with me or going with me somewhere? You know, and there was conversations there, but the biggest thing, he gave me a call. He's like, yeah, I'm staying for sure. So, and I was like, okay, well, I got my O-line coach there. The whole offensive staff's still there, basically, you know, and then you got, you know, just good relationships that I built before. So I just let it all settle and watched it go about and kept my decision. So.
Well, something that you mentioned there was sticking around, and that you at this point are the commit that's been in this class for the longest amount, from the moment that you made that verbal commitment to now. I believe you're the longest commit in the 2023 class. And there's been guys that you know, before we started recording, you mentioned have come and gone. But what has been your experience like, really being, in a way, really the leader of this class, not just in social media, but again, you being the longest lasting commit up to this point? You know, what's it been like? And then communicating with, you know, the quarterback, Jackson Arnold, he's starting to get a lot of hype now. And then the rest of the class, like Eric, he's been part of the class for a very long time as well. How are those relationships building, and what are you guys looking forward to in being on campus together?
Yeah, there's a lot of good relationships I've built with a lot of kids committed, and a lot of kids, you know, we're trying to get to come and trying to get committed. But, you know, some of the biggest relationships I've had, you know, obviously with the recruits that left, them leaving and newer ones coming in. With Jackson Arnold, I met Jackson. It was my first visit back to OU with a whole new staff, and everyone's brand new. And so it was the first visit back with Jackson, and he was there, and I was able to meet him. And ever since, we kind of clicked pretty well. You know, he's a good dude, you know, very, you know, kind of like quieter. You know, he's not like big mouth guy you get, you know, with recruits, you know. So obviously me and him we've contacted a lot. You know, we've been on kids' back since, you know, day one to try to get them commit, and, you know, trying to flip kids from other schools. And so it's been with us too. Obviously, I think we are leading this class, and just, you know, I've been committed for so long, you know, because I believe in this program, you know, and that's how I am. I'm a firm believer in what I believe in. Anything I commit to, or, you know, put my word out and, you know, verbally say something, you know, I'm gonna hold my word to it, you know. And I believe in this program, and I think we can be great. And I think, you know, moving to the SEC, I think the sky's the limit for us. I think we can do anything we want in college football right now, you know. So that's what I believe in, and that's kind of what I put, you know, and that's my recruiting pitch. You know, it's like I'm coming up on a year. Next month, I'm going to be a year committed, you know, and I committed as a sophomore, you know. So I always push. I'm like, I just believe in it, you know. and everything that OU's doing and Brent Venables is doing and Beatonbow's doing and Levy's doing, I'm bought in. I believe in it. And when I get there, I can, finally put it to work, and get after it and really, truly believe in the program and, pick after it. So that's really what I do. And that's kind of how I want to, me and Jackson hope to lead this class, is just be like, when you get in and when you get on campus, we believe in it. We run the program and we do it. Everything from, Schmitty to whooping our ass in the weight room to meeting rooms with Coach Levy, right? Everything's going to be, and in the classroom, right? So everything's going to be, we're going to believe in it, and we're going to continue to chase greatness. And that's what I know OU can do because they've done it in the past. And that's what I want to do in the future. And that's kind of, that's how I want to lead this class. And that's kind of how I've recruited and, help recruit and text kids and call kids and, fly out to Oklahoma just to, be on a visit with Peyton Kirkland, right? So it's just certain stuff like that. I want a good group of guys that have the same vision and ideals as all of us, and we can go at it and kick some ass. So, yeah.
Oh, Jose, you're muted.
Real quick follow-up to that. You mentioned it. You're about to come up on a year of being a commit to the University of Oklahoma. Have you or your family put any thought into potentially being an early enrollee and signing your letter of intent in December? Is that even something that you're wanting to do?
I did it since I was a freshman. So I took I took early classes in the summer, going into my sophomore year. Once I got my first offer, I was like, yeah, I'm going to enroll early. So it was just a really early decision I made, and started getting after it early. So it's easier to transition. So I'm ready to sign my papers and be on campus in January. So,
yeah, that'd be huge for you to be able to come in January, get that whole spring semester before your freshman year. I got a kind of a two-part question, and this is just a general question. So when you say going and recruiting kids, are you you're saying you're like texting them, is everyone like in a group chat? How does that look? Because it's all outsiders looking in. And then my second part is, obviously it seems like from the outside looking in, Jackson, Arlen, you are kind of the leaders in recruiting and getting guys to, trying to flip them or get them to commit. Would you say there's another kid, that's committed that, I think there's now 10 total that are committed that are really involved, or is everyone really involved in recruiting? Is it like a giant group text saying, hey, we're trying to get you, Peyton Kirkland or Caden Green or whoever it is? Would you say that there's a third person, or is it everyone just a collective group?
Yeah, I would say, there's a couple. Obviously, Eric, he's kind of been a help too defensively. Because when I try to make connections, when I'm recruiting, because with offense linemen, as big guys, it's easy to make connections with that. Rather, it's like me making a connection with a DB, right? So it's like you got to have kind of that diversity. But Eric's I know he's helped with it, especially on social media and just texting guys and getting after it. I know Jackson's been a huge help. I think all the commits have really. We have a group text with J.R. Sandlin, and J.R. gives us the down low. He gives us the numbers we got to hit up, and we all go and do it. And I've texted countless of DNs, D tackles, all the dudes I'm going to be playing up against the scout team, right? So it's like it's the biggest thing that I love about it is the family. And so that's really, something that I love. And that's what we try to do is recruiting is, just get together and try to get the best kids we want to come to our school.
So you mentioned there, your work on the recruiting trail. We all see it on social media and everything. You just alluded to it with text messages and things like that. I don't know. Yeah, okay. I guess what I'm wondering now is, how often do you talk to the guys currently on the team? Do you talk to Andrew Rain? Do you talk to the Wanya Morrises? Do you talk to any of the 22 commits? Jake Taylor, Jake Sexton? I guess, what does that look like? I guess just your communication with the guys currently on the team and the 22 commits.
Yeah. So the people I've talked to mostly. I've talked to Jacob Sexton a lot. He was really a big factor early with me committing. I talked to Jake Taylor. He's a guy that I've talked to. Dylan Gabriel a little bit. I was able to, interact with him at the spring game a little. Haven't talked. I think I'm going back on my official in December, right before I get on campus in the winter. So I think Andrew, I'll be able to contact with Andrew a lot, Andrew Rhymes. So there's a couple guys, I've definitely talked to. But yeah, so good relationships there, and I feel comfortable, moving in and going under, and going under someone's wing to, get me used to it. So
is going to the SEC something that like helped you make that decision at all, or is that just kind of in a way a benefit for you as a big guy? I feel like big men in the SEC are seen as a tier above everyone else in the country. Did that help you at all? Help you make that decision at all, or would have sticking around in the Big 12, would that have mattered to you at all?
Yeah, I'm always up for the, for the challenge. So moving to the SEC, obviously it's it's a big feat, and I think it'll be an adjustment, and we're really gonna, because instead of playing, you're not playing Kansas anymore, right? You're playing dudes that are, Arkansas, Ole Miss, who if they're not in the SEC, they're winning a conference, so you're playing guys that are at their top of their game every single week. There's no rest week. So that'll be an adjustment, and I'm all for it. And I know a lot of the guys, a lot of the commits are all for it. And obviously it made my decision hell of a lot easier, because obviously you're looking at it and you're like, who are the top O linemen that are coming off the board in the draft? If you look at it, there's probably freaking 15 offensive linemen in the top 3 rounds that are in the SEC, and it's just it's a constant recurring thing that as a big guy, if you can play in the SEC and maintain and be good, and reliable and durable, you're going to be good pretty much anywhere else playing football. So that's something for me that helped me a lot. Helped also a lot of other kids that commit. So yeah, it's definitely a big factor for sure.
And then, you talked about your upcoming official visit. You said it was in early December before you get on campus, for the spring in January. Do you plan on going back unofficially at all? I know there's like a recruiting event at the end of this month. Are you going to go back for any games this fall before the December, or are you going to just wait until the official?
Yeah, so I'm going back July 29th. It's the party at the Palace. It's the last kind of weekend before, after the recruiting deadline. So I'll go back for that July 29th. I'll be there pretty much all the end of that week. And then I'll go to the Red River Showdown in Dallas against Texas. That's something I want to experience and, just get a look at, before I walk into that game. So I'll go to that game. That's the only game I'll watch this year. I'll go to the 29th, and then I'll go to my official in December. So, yeah, it'll be 3 more visits before I get on campus. So
that's a
great call on going to Dallas before you have to step on that field, because just as fans, that's a crazy atmosphere. I can't imagine being on the field having, Texas fans yell at you about how much OU sucks, or getting to put out the gold hat on. That's going to be a cool experience for you.
Yeah,
that's going to be a lot of fun, man. But so kind of going off of that, that OU Texas game is going to be something special. But going into the SEC, what away stadium do you look forward to playing in the most? Alabama, LSU, Georgia. There's going to be some fun ones. I guess, which one are you most excited for?
Yeah, I think, man, if I had to pick, I think Baton Rouge at LSU. I think that would be rocking. Obviously, it's going to suck for me trying to hear the snap count and call out my, my mic and, my Sam Blitzer, but it's going to suck there. But everything, just being able to, be in that big of an environment where everyone, they love football. I'm sure the whole city of Baton Rouge is just cleared. Everyone's on campus watching the game. So that's a stadium I want to be in. And then I want to go and the Bedlam. I want to play in Bedlam and Oklahoma State, and I want to beat them. So whenever we're moving to the SEC, I'm not like really like sure when, because especially with everyone moving around now. But that's something I want to beat Oklahoma State in Oklahoma State. So yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Jose?
I didn't know if anyone.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't know if anyone had a question. But so it sounds like you're kind of you've mentally kind of prepared yourself already. You're thinking about what it's like to be in college at this point. You seem pretty mature, especially for being how old are you, 17, 18 years old, right? Like I would say you're very mature. I remember when I was 17, I definitely wasn't composed as well as you are.
Appreciate
So
it.
good. I mean, that's awesome. You're doing a great job. What's been something that you think has helped you to get to this point already at such a young age? And what about college, just as a student, are you excited for? Are you excited just to be like away from Colorado and kind of experience life on your own? Or you kind of just, is there something specifically that's exciting you about being on a college campus?
Yeah, really. I'm very self-motivated. I'm very driven. And a lot of it comes from my family and how I've been raised. My dad played college ball, and he put absolutely no pressure on me to play college football at all. He's like, listen, you can do whatever you want. He's like, you could go play professional violin if you wanted to. He said, I don't care. You can play football, you can be in the band, like you can do whatever. And I just remember playing soccer when I was in second grade, knocked a kid over, got kicked out of the game. And from there on, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm playing football the rest of my life. And so I played football from third grade all the way to now. And I've been self-driven ever since. And, when I stepped on that field, it's something I felt comfortable in. And I strive, and I always say it. I really strive to be great. And I want to be the best football player and the best center to ever live. And that's my goal. And however that looks, right? If that's playing at OU and doing something great there, if that is playing in the league and I get the opportunity to do that, that is something, I'm always driven, and I always strive to be the best. I always chase it. I chase greatness. And that's something that's come from my family. My mom and my dad, they both, they're very, very motivated, very self-motivated. They don't need anyone to tell them to get up and let's go. They do it themselves. And that's how I was raised. And that's really what's carried me to this far, is I wanted to, conquer and accomplish everything I could in high school as a football player, and, getting those offers and being that, getting on that All-American list, and it's not going to change in college, and that's what I'm going to strive to do and strive to chase. And, anyone who knows me, that's what they're going to say about me. So that's how I've done it. And it's a mindset you got to have, and I love it. So yeah, it's a blast. And with college life, I really, I really don't know what to expect. You have the unknown always. I'm excited to live on my own, and kind of, float my own boat and do what I need to do, and kind of just learn on my own, and that's something, yeah, I'm excited for. And I'm excited to live in a different place, because you live in Colorado and you're always seeing mountains and you can never breathe because you're so far up in the air in these mountains, so it's going to be a lot nicer to move somewhere where there's actual oxygen. And it'll be a good transition. I'm super excited. And yeah, I'm just waiting and itching to get over there. So
Sorry, boys, I'm going to jump in again. I'm being a terrible co-host, but he's given me some great questions. So you mentioned you're striving to be, one of the best centers, at the college level, maybe of all time, if you get the opportunity to be in the NFL. Speaking of being a center at OU and in the NFL, have you had the opportunity to speak with Creed Humphrey, and maybe learn a little bit about his experience at Oklahoma?
I was literally going to ask that if you just gave me a chance, but it's okay.
Oh, sorry,
we
boys.
got it in.
Yeah, I actually have. My last, I think it was 2 visits ago. I walked in the facility and I put on my, the lanyard they give you and everything. I'm walking in and I'm like looking around the room, trying to find a couple like guys like Caden, people I can talk to. and I see Creed Humphrey. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no way. Cause I'm like, that's a guy that made my commitment a commitment, you know, cause I'm looking at dudes like Creed and Beanbo, you know, and Beanbo's like, he's like putting all the tools on that guy, you know, to be able to get there, you know? And so, I look at guys like Creed, you know, dudes you mimic your football game after, you play to strive and be like them. You look at that and you're like, oh my gosh. So I was able to walk up to him and I shook his hand. I told him, I was like, I'm a center commit in the 23 class. You know, I was like, I love watching you play. You know, he was a huge, huge asset. You know, I was like, you solidified my commitment. You know, I was like, I wanted to come play partially. I wanted to come play here because you played here. You know, and he loved it. And he's like, yeah, man. He's like, you're pretty squared away. You're in the best hands, you know, in college football when it comes to playing offensive line, and really when it comes to just, you know, playing college football. Everyone at OU, he said they're going to put you in the best spot to win football games and, you know, chase your dreams and what you want to do. And he said, I'm super, super excited you made the commitment and everything. So I was able to talk to him a little bit. He's a big celebrity around campus and everything, especially at the O-lineman. You know, he's got a lot of people he talks to, and I was probably only about 5 minutes, and you know, that's all I needed. So made my commitment a lot better. And I was like, oh, here we go. So.
Yeah. And so you said your dad played at Colorado for football. Growing up, were you a Colorado fan for, you know, watching on Saturdays, or did you like specific teams? Did you like Oklahoma as a kid, just as a fan? Were there any other colleges that you just grew fond of just because you liked the way they played, you know, growing up, or anything like that? Or has it all been Colorado? And since you've been starting to get recruited, you started to fall in love with Oklahoma?
Yeah. So, I loved OU as a kid. I remember, I mean, like as a teenager, like getting like middle school, like getting into high school playing. I watched Georgia and OU in the Rose Bowl 2018. And ever since then, I was like, I remember like turning to my dad and I'm like, Dad, I'm gonna play in that game one day. Like I will be on that national television. Cause I mean, it's electric. Like it is the coolest environment in sports, you know, and you can't, I don't think you can argue it. You know, I mean, it is one of the most electrifying sports atmospheres is a big time bowl game, you know, New Year's Six bowl game. And it's something that, you know, a lot of football players and a lot of select few get to do, you know, and that's something I want to do. And I remember turning my dad, I'm like, I'm going to be there, you know, I'm going to be playing in those games. And in Oklahoma, you can do that there. And I've always kind of kept that ever since I watched that game. I wasn't a huge Oklahoma fan or everything, you know, but you know, I've never been to Oklahoma until I, you know, first got there like a couple of years ago, you know, so I didn't really know anything of it, but I watched them play football and I was like, yeah, that's a school I'm definitely interested in, you know. And Colorado, growing up, you know, my dad's always an alum, you know, always getting invited to the alum events, all this stuff. And that's something, you know, that's a place, you know, I've always kind of loved and I liked a lot for the longest time. And it really just came down to, you know, they're not the best, you know. I don't want to play there, and I've told everyone straight to their face. I told my dad that. He's like, yeah. He's like, he said it's good, and I want to surround myself with the best, and I want to surround myself with people who play the best football and that know what that looks like, and because that's what I want to do. You know, I don't want to play Pac-12 football. You know, I want to play SEC. I want to play Big 12 football where people care, you know, and people give a shit about, you know, who you're playing and how tough you're playing and everything like that. So that's something, yeah, you know, I've really kind of just surrounded myself with. And I love CU. I love Colorado. It's awesome. It's beautiful here. You know, I want to live here still one day, you know, and that's, you know, it's something Boulder and CU, you know, wasn't my thing. I grew up watching them, but, you know, it wasn't my thing. I wanted to get on the big stage. So I loved OU and really schools like that. So
that that 2018 Rose Bowl, man, that game brings back bad memories. That's like a Voldemort thing. We don't talk about it, but
oh gosh,
it is what it is here. But but in third grade, you make the decision to start playing football, and you mentioned your dad didn't really care, didn't push you to play. But like once you made that decision, did you know you wanted to be a center? And two, how much did your dad help you? Like, coaching you up a little bit, or like it's not everybody has a D1 dad who played center. How much did that help you in learning the game and appreciating the game and all that?
Yeah, so my dad, was a coach my whole life. Once I really fell in love with football, he started coming in and, helping me. And he, in the I think it was the fourth grade, I wanted to play tight end. I remember watching Jason Witten on TV. I love Jason Witten, and I wanted to be like Jason Witten. I remember wanting to play tight end. I told my dad that, and my dad's like, no. He said, you're not playing tight end. He said, Joshua, you're going to play center. And I was like, okay, I'll play center, I guess, And so I played center my whole life. Haven't played any other position. I played defensive end in the third grade. And, I like scoring more. So I moved to offense, and I played center for ever now. And, it hasn't changed. My dad was a tackle at CU, actually. He played tackle, won the Big 12 championship in 2001, beat Texas. It was the last championship they've had. And so he's got enough, experience to, really help, anyone that wants to play at the next level, so it's really a blessing having him and being able to have that resource. He helped me tremendously. And he was 6'4", and playing 6'4" at tackle nowadays is kind of unheard. You see dudes that are 6'7", 6'8", 7'10", that are just giant people playing a tackle, and dad, he's all, he said, listen, you're going to play interior, because the way, if you look anything like me, you're playing inside, so he really instilled that at a young age, and I played it ever since. And, I remember I was calling my fronts, when I was in the fifth grade. I was calling the fronts out in the fifth grade, so I'm calling over and under fronts and odd fronts in the fifth grade, and dad's teaching me, how to do it. And, it's something I've loved. I love the knowledge and everything that comes with center. But my dad made it evident. He said, if you want to play big time football, he said, especially now, he said, you're going to have to play inside, because he's like, it's a different animal on the outside. You got to be, God gifted. So I've played guard and center, and that's all I know. And that's what I love.
So my last question, I promise, is, moving off of OU and, recruitment, looking forward at your, I guess what sounds to be your last semester as a high school football player, what are you excited about finishing, your time in high school? What do you and your teammates expect out of this upcoming season?
It's a great question. My sophomore year, we did win the state championship, 3A state championship in Colorado. That's something I want to get back at this year, and that's something I'm very confident we can get back to this year. And that's the main goal right now, as of now. I want to put my team and lead my team to the best possibility we can have to get back to that state championship. And that's really the main goal as of now, especially with football season creeping up. That's something I want to do and want to get back to before I, hang up my cleats for high school football. So that's always the goal, really. But I know this year we can get back to it. We can do it. Really, just making those relationships I've made over all my life living in Durango and in Colorado. That's something I want to keep those relationships tight. When I leave, and those are the two things I want to do. Before I leave here. And, I think my work isn't finished yet here, but, it's coming to the end where, my high school career is done, and I really, I just signed another 4-year contract. Right. So that's all I got left, and I'm going to make the most of it. And I'm going to finish my high school career out, hopefully with a state championship. And just keep building those relationships and make them last. So, yeah.
Yeah. And And my final question will be, Brandon will get one more as well, so we don't take too much of your time. I saw you guys went 9-3 last year, so I mean, obviously you got a good team coming up. But you're going to be taking another visit for the party on the Palace on July 29th. Are there any specific recruits that you're hoping that are there, or that you're working on to show up for that event, or anyone in specific? Or are you just going and just seeing who shows up, and whoever's there, you're going to recruit hard?
Yeah, I think we're going to have the party of the Palace. I think we're going to have Caden Green there. We're going to have Peyton Kirkland there. Those are the two I'm gonna get on, and I'm gonna try to, make him commit, kind of. But yeah, those are two guys I'm gonna be focusing on pretty well. I think we also might have Logan Howling come in. I'm not sure about that. It's another offensive lineman I'm really focusing on too. So it's inching closer, and super excited, and hopefully get a couple of other offensive guys. So yeah, no, it's gonna be a blast, and can't wait to share about it and experience it. So yeah.
All right, we'll I guess we'll finish it with this one. Just actually playing the game, playing the position. Is it just way more fun, like on a run play, like run blocking versus pass blocking, getting able to run down the field and knock down DBs versus just going against big DTs all the time?
Yeah, man, that's a great question. I love any sort of run blocking where I can just finish someone and and roll over them and you get them pissed off. I think I love to run plays, and a lot more than the pass plays, because when I'm setting in my pass set, I'm like waiting for somebody, right? Rather it's on a run blocking, you're setting the tone, you're getting after it, you're setting that tone, you're going to plant them 15 yards down the field. Even the better plays is the screen passes, because you get a fat kid out in the space on a DB, dude, you just crush him, right? And it's the best thing ever, because you get the best mismatch, right? And they don't know what to do. They're in a deer in the headlights. Those are the best plays. So when I get to snap and release on a screenplay, oh, that's 10 times better. I'll do that on a free shot, on a free safety. It's amazing. Love it.
That's awesome. I kind of figured, but it's good to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So, go ahead.
This isn't a question, but before we wrap it up, we never explained to you why we're called Two Plane Sports. When we're back in college, we, being in Oklahoma, the defense wasn't the greatest at one point, and as a group, we decided, and it's not like an unknown philosophy, but you have to build a football team in the trenches, offense and defense. And our friend Brandon here said you just have to have enough big bodies that have enough weight that you just need to have two planes to move them to whatever location you got to go to. So it sounds like you're prepared to be part of that two-plane squad and just getting as many guys loaded up on the offensive line.
Absolutely.
Yeah, games are won and lost in the trench. It's not that we played at the highest level, but that just seems to be our thinking here. So
in Madden, I was pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So something that we do on here, Brandon has an individual challenge for everyone to comment. Brandon, do you want to give everyone your individual challenge?
It's a pretty easy one. We've got Joshua Bates here. He joined us. We do appreciate that. So just leave a comment about how excited you are to see Joshua Bates play, what your expectations are as fans. If Joshua disagrees with it, he can comment 3 years from now and say, look how dumb you are, after he makes, first team all SEC all 3 years. But just comment. Just comment about Joshua Bates. Anything you got?
Yeah. So we just want to say again, Joshua, we really appreciate you coming on. This has been a great time, and we wish you the best in your upcoming senior season. And can't wait to see you play on Saturdays in the next couple years. Next 4 or 5 years, however long you're on campus. And we just want to say we appreciate it, and hopefully we can get you on in the future. Every so often we can check in and touch base and do that. So that's all. We just wanted to say that. And, if you made it this far, for everyone else, subscribe to the channel, like the video. It helps us out a ton. Do Brandon's In a Video Challenge. Find us on Apple, Spotify, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Everything's linked below. And if you're listening to us on Apple or Spotify, leave us a review, and it helps us out a ton. And, hopefully we get to do more of this. We'd love to get more commits that are in your, the chosen 23 class. Hopefully we can get some more of your future teammates on here, and we can kind of build a relationship where you guys feel comfortable coming on here and just, talking 30, 45 minutes or something like that over the next, 4 or 5 years of your playing career, and maybe in the NFL whenever you're starting, first round pick maybe, and we'll get you to come back.
Yeah.
So definitely. So, but made it this far, do that. And just tell Joshua we really appreciate it, and we'll catch you guys next time.